Today I am going to be talking about the sound design, right? This is what we're covering in this unit. So for this unit, you will be acting as a sound designer. But before we get into that, I just want to kind of define this class a little bit, right? In this class, we're going to be using the word media, okay? So media is defined as the means of communication as radio, television, newspaper, magazine that influences or reach people widely. This is from dictionary.com. And what this means is that instead of using media as in like paper or media storage, right? Something that stores or something you use to create, what we are talking about is we are going to use this as a means of communication, media. This is where digital media comes in because we're going to be doing this digitally. So this includes all kinds of audio and images that include things you would find on radio, television, film, and video, audio media like CDs, MP3s, things like that, the internet, and print. So why is audio important? We are starting with audio and audio design, right? We're being a sound designer here because it is very big part of digital media, right? In radio, it's most of it, right? In television, film, there's a lot of audio there. Audio media, CDs, MP3s, things like that. That's strictly all that it is. And of course, the internet, where we have streaming. Audio all plays a big part. Right? It just doesn't happen magically. There's someone creating it and designing it. Okay, in visual media, it's half the story, but with audio media, it's the full story. So I'm going to talk a bit about my friend Kelly Baker here, right? Kelly Baker, he's the angry filmmaker. He's a lot of things. He's an independent film producer. He's an author. He's also a sound designer, and that's what he did his main job as for a long time. He worked with Gus Van Sant on films like My Own Private Idaho and Good Will Hunting and Finding Forrester, right? He is a professional in the field, and now he kind of sticks to education, right, and being an author. And what he always talks about is about how audio work is always in demand. A lot of people are really drawn to the fancy videos and doing video work and doing camera, but still, being a boom operator, a sound recordist, an audio engineer, be it in post-production or production, is always work that's in demand because there's plenty of it. So it's really good to learn audio, at least a bit of it, while you're at the stage that you're at. And in this course, this is what we're starting out with. In other words, there are many, many jobs in audio. In fact, at least half of the digital media jobs have or are in or have something to do with audio. So that's something to think about. Audio is very important to know. So let's jump into what is sound design. Okay. Sound design is the process of specifying, acquiring, manipulating, or generating audio elements. What does this mean? We are going to be doing this in the class, right? Specifying, acquiring, manipulating, and generating audio elements. So in this class, we are going to be using loops, which I'll get into here in a bit, right? So we're going to specify which audio tones we're going to use, or loops. We're going to acquire those loops. And then once we have those into a timeline and build upon them, we're going to manipulate them by building one into another, by adding effects, changing the beats per minute, things like that. And we're also going to generate audio elements by recording our own voice in this class. Right? So these are all things that we do. So as you can see, it's employed in a variety of disciplines, and here's a whole list of things that we've talked about. Remember, video game development, audio plays a big role. Sound design most commonly involves the manipulation of previously composed or recorded audio, such as sound effects and dialogue. In some instances, it may also involve the composition or manipulation of audio to create a desired effect or mood. Right? And a sound designer is one who practices the art of sound design. So this is what we're concentrating on our first two assignments. Let's talk about basic sound design concepts here, right? And these concepts of design, not just sound design, you'll hear over and over again in this class because they remain true for every bit of design that we do. First thing you have to think about is that you are designing for somebody, and that somebody is your audience. Who are you trying to reach? Whenever I am tasked with something, like for instance, I'm getting ready to make a video right now for the university. First thing I ask is, who is the audience, right? Because then that's going to really dictate what kind of digital media would best suit them and how to present that media, because we have to figure out what they want. The second one is design supports the message. So you have some sort of message that you're trying to get through to your audience. Okay, it could be come to school here. It could be go eat at McDonald's. Whatever it is, right? There is some sort of message that you're trying to do. So you have to have music and sound effects as well as the whole mixing of the message to support that idea, right? And of course, that idea is directly involved with who your audience is. How are you going to best reach your audience? If you're doing something for, let's say, exercise classes for 60-year-olds and up, probably the message is going to be quite a bit different from saying exercise classes from kids 6 to 12, right? You're going to have two very different ways of giving that information, though basically what you're basically advertising with exercise is about the same. And then finally, in this class and in design in general, design has to have a reason, right? Every aspect of what you do has to have a reason. In audio design, right, sound design, every sound effect has to have a reason for it. Your music has to have a reason, right? The dialogue, voiceover, whatever you're using, everything has to have a reason. In this class and in design in general, when you're designing for somebody, right, I like it and it's creative is not a reason. And this is very much a difference between what an artist is and what a designer does. There are overlapping variables here that are the same with artists as well as with designers. But designers are designing for somebody. They're working for somebody, trying to get some sort of message out, whereas an artist is trying to get a feeling or emotion out that they're trying to convey to the public in that way. Right? So these are the basic sound design concepts that we will be going over for our first 2 units, as well as, well, basically for the rest of the class.